Tom Tugendhat, Kemi Badenoch, I know I mispronounce her name, James Cleverly, they all represent different facets of the Conservative Party's leadership spectrum, though they are all essentially on the right or the mid-right. They hope to offer a unique vision of what will happen in the future. They will be involved in debates within the party, its future direction. Badenoch has emerged as a figure associated with the past, but she wants to be seen as the intellectual who is structuring some sort of ideological renewal of the Conservative Party, a commitment to traditional Conservative values, but I don't know what they are. And I think that term, the traditional Conservative value, has been trumped up in much the same way as a number of other illegal migrants. This is a reworking of language which is designed to trigger a response. However, if it's about individual responsibility, free markets, a cautious approach to state intervention, well then that is Conservative values. And Badenoch has made it clear that the party must move beyond simply criticising Labour, I agree, and instead focus on its own renewal, its own regeneration. It's got a lot to renew and move away from, specifically Liz Truss and the failure of Johnson. In her recent speech today, she has underscored the need for the Conservatives to refresh their own policy offerings and reconnect with the electorate. Her emphasis on not recycling old arguments reflects a broader concern within the party that it risks becoming stagnant if it fails to innovate. Her focus on renewal is a call to action for the party to adapt and modernise, but she needs to reflect on what she's saying and take her own medicine, because at the moment she's talking one thing but she's doing another. I fully expect the word Rwanda to pop into anything that she says. James Cleverly, who again wants to return to the fundamentals of Conservative philosophy, a smaller state, more efficient governance, absolutely. But again, his pitch for leadership, which prioritizes doing fewer things very well rather than spreading itself too thinly, yes, he's quite right. The rhetoric is right. But the reality is that he brings so much baggage to the table. He talks about abolishing stamp duty on homes, a clear nod to middle-class voters struggling with home ownership. But, by the time the Conservatives get into power, if they ever get into power again, so much damage will have been done to those aspirations to own a home, and there may be no homes available. And that's partly due to the failure of the Conservatives to build enough during its time in power. So Tom Tugendhat perhaps represents a more moderate, perhaps even a more centrist stand within the Conservative Party. Known for his military background, focus on national security, Tugendhat's appeal lies in his reputation as a principled and steady figure who prioritises competence and integrity. His campaign, which is set to launch soon, will almost certainly pick up or aim to pick up the Blue Rinse Brigade, who feel left behind by the drive towards the right by people like Priti Patel, Kemi Badenoch and Suella Braverman, and also possibly Jenrick. Jenrick is the only candidate still in existence who is determined to scrap our relationship with the ECHR. The ECHR, in a recent poll, only a third of active Conservatives still seem to want to dump the ECHR. The figures speak more loudly than any of these shrills. But I personally think nobody in the Conservative Party is really poised to deal with life in opposition, and the candidates so far are not in a position to do that, or in a position to really pitch a new vision for Conservative government when and if that should ever take place. Rishi Sunak should have been persuaded to have stayed on longer and to have seen through this transition from government into opposition, because the candidates who are vying for control at the moment are the worst. Are the worst of the bunch, or perhaps the best of the bunch, but it's not much of a bunch. It's a bunch of grapes which has gone sour. on the vine.